When I was younger, my dad would take us on these road trips to national parks, and I would see alpine trees like aspens and pines, and every tree looks different, and every type of tree adapts differently to its environment. And it's not like one is better than the other, they're both adapting in their own way, thriving together. That's the important lesson with adaptation. We could get to the top of a mountain 1,000 different ways. We could take our bike, we could walk, we could hike, all these different ways, and we could get to the same place. We're doing the same thing, but getting there by different means. All right, here we are. It's 6:40. We're about to start. Everyone's got their GoPros. They know what they're doing.
On the count of three, trendsetters.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Trendsetters! Woo!
The White Rim Trail is very unique in the sense that most people, when you go mountain biking, you start going up and then down. This one, it's a little weird because you start going down and then you end on going up. If you want to start at the Horse Thief campground, you actually can make it a full 100-mile loop, just right over 100 miles. You have to be prepared, because if you just look at it and look at the profile, look at the mileage, even look at pictures out there, you still have no idea what you're gonna encounter. So most people do the White Rim in 3 to 4 days, and we decided to do it in a day and just ascend it. I was born with a very rare condition called Poland syndrome. It's where I'm missing my pectoral, both major and minor, in the side. My whole left arm is underdeveloped. My left hand is not very functional. This is about as much of the squeezing I can do. As a kid, it bothered me a lot because people would say, you can't do this, or you won't be able to do this. In high school, somebody had actually said to me, "Oh, you're never going to be able to do anything with your hands." The key aspect of golf is how you hold it. And I was like, well, I'll show them. I started taking lessons, had to figure out how to hold it, and definitely it's different than a regular grip. But then I tried out for the golf team, and I made it just because somebody said I couldn't do it. I felt free, almost like I could fly, just because it's this is what I'm not supposed to be able to do, and I'm out here doing it. It was only up until I started volunteering at the National Ability Center that I was around people with disabilities. That's when I realized there's other people out there that are doing things that are badass. They're doing things that I didn't think that they could do or thought I could do. So my goal here is to set the FKT time for a para-cyclist around. the white rim. Because this isn't going to be easy. It's 100 miles, self-supported, out in the middle of nowhere. There's no cell service. Who knows what it's going to be like? But as somebody with a disability, we always adapt and we'll figure out a way to do it. So bikes became a core part of my life in college. The only real way to get around campus was through bikes. So I started riding to class and this is really fun. And then started rolling downstairs and I was like, maybe I should roll up these stairs. Then I met a friend. He's like, well, I like doing that stuff too. So we started doing that together. And then more and more of us started getting together. That's how I found my friend group in college. In trials, there wasn't a lot of front wheel movements at that point. So having your rear brake be your main brake was like the thing. So I would just do all rear wheel moves and stuff. And then front wheel moves started becoming a thing. And so, well, you need a front brake for that. And I was like, well, I can't do a front brake. So then that's at the point where I was like, I need to adapt my bike to who I am. That's when I figured out I can maybe try to put both brakes on one side. So then got my second brake lever, put it over there, just, well, this looks great. Let's go try it out. Once I put both brakes on my right side, I got exponentially better. That's when I knew I'm good at something. Later on, I started doing some mountain bike races. I realized I had some pretty big endurance. Doing those kind of things is like the feeling I would get. It's the feeling I was searching for as a kid. Like I was searching for this feeling of accomplishment, a feeling of fitting in, feeling of being me. Basically at that point on, my life has revolved around bikes. So now I work for a bike company. My wife is a cyclist. The first thing we bought when we found out we were pregnant was a bicycle. It's like bikes all day long.
Gotta get like some kind of like interpretation of how I see. Little dirt never hurt. Ah, now I can see.
Hi, I'm Josie Fouts, and I am I don't know, I'm a lot. I have a lot going on. Man, how do I identify? Hi, I'm Josie Fouts, and I am a mountain para-cyclist.
The first time I talked to Josie, I had no idea who she was or anything about her besides that she needed help with her brake setup. She actually called me up. We talked for a couple hours. We just barely even talked about the brake setup, and we just talked about how difficult our lives have been with disability and growing up with a congenital disability.
Growing up in Ohio, I knew that I was a little bit different from everyone else, but I didn't know how different I was as an individual until I started going to a prosthetist. That's when I think it started to click. When you tell the young kid that you're going to give them a real hand that moves, I'm looking at my hand and I'm like, oh, cool. I'm gonna be able to do all these things with my fingers. But when I got a myoelectric, all it could move was these two fingers. And I was super disappointed. And they were like, well, maybe prosthetics aren't for you. That really shaped my mindset. Having that adverse reaction to prosthetics really taught me like how to take control of my own life. I started mountain biking, and then all of a sudden I had all this fitness. As I progressed, I realized I was actually now limiting myself not having a prosthetic. There was this moment where I was like, okay, I don't just want one, I need one. Because if I can learn to physically roll over anything or around anything, any metaphorical barrier that presents itself off the bike, I know there's a way around it. That's what made mountain biking a part of my future and my purpose. The fact that this tool told me that despite what I lived through and how I saw it, that wasn't the whole truth, and that maybe prosthetics could actually help me, that changed my whole life. That's really when the plan of Trendsetters started solidifying. And that's when I'm really excited about going to Canyonlands National Park, because we're gonna be in a place where all of our social discrimination, all these disabled stereotypes, it doesn't matter, because we're in a place where we can see a bigger perspective and a bigger picture that we're a part of. And when you see the vastness that is Canyonlands, you're going to feel so small that these problems in your mind, literally, they just disappear.
The MoFo ride from the NAC is an amazing experience, no matter if you have a disability or not. I actually invited Josie to the ride, and I thought that'd be great for her because it's getting her out of her normal space of San Diego, and you can kind of get a feel of what Utah's like, even though Moab's a little bit different, but you can actually see a lot of that with the MoFo trails.
I know we're here to raise money, but there's also another currency, and it's energy. We have a family here who's ready to give us some good energy, and that's what it's really about. And then I brought my friend Roger, who just wants to say a couple of words.
G'day guys, as you might realise, I'm from Australia. Josie invited me here on this amazing journey. I've only known Josie for a short time, but what I have learnt is she's full of beans, she's got lots of energy. I keep waiting for the energy level to drop, but it just doesn't seem to drop. I'm from Australia in a place called Wollongong, which is 1 hour south of Sydney. I am a below knee amputee, and recently I have become an osseointegration amputee. As a socket amputee, I went through so many struggles. I was desperate, I was in a really dark spot, and decided to just go for osseointegration. The difference it's made to my life has been just incredible. Well, do you want to see Stumpy Steve?
Yes, show me.
All right, so pull my foot off. Here's Stumpy Steve. Hello.
Hi, Stumpy Steve.
It's a big thing, you know, to be told you're going to suddenly lose your leg. I think it took me about 3 years in to really start to embrace it, to accept this is how I'm going to be forever. Because you kind of plan your life and you have a direction that you're going in, and then I end up being an amputee, and it was no more go, go, go. It was just stop dead, and had to completely reinvent myself, and it was a very, very dark time, and there was times when I wanted to end my life. I needed a goal, and I just knew I had to get back on a bike for my own mental capacity. With mountain biking, a lot of it is climbing, so you've got to be strong in your legs, and I was suffering a lot of pain trying to climb, and it got to a point where I was struggling so much that I was thinking I was going to have to give up mountain biking. That's when I came across the Specialized Turbo Levo in 2016, an electric assist mountain bike. Once I got it back to my local trails, it was total game changer. It was picking up where I didn't have the power to push with my residual limb. I felt like I could just ride with everybody, wasn't getting left behind. I got a group of my friends together, said, hey, you know, do you want to support me to do this? And of course, you know, they said yes. That was quite an emotional moment for me. So that sent me on that journey. That's why I put myself up for doing these challenges and getting me out, meeting new people. It's because I know how hard it can be.
So the White Rim is probably one of the most exciting and spectacular areas that bikers want to do. The geology of the White Rim is what makes it so spectacular. The rock is only found on this particular area of Canyonlands and a little bit down towards Moab in the entire world. But this could be dangerous. It's amazing, it's beautiful, but it's not worth overdoing it. So I really still want you guys to drink electrolytes, water, salty snacks. I mean, water, like it's your job. We recognize that accessibility is difficult and it looks different for all sorts of people, whether you have a disability or not. So that being said, I love that we're highlighting this.
For sure.
Yeah. I am so thankful that you guys are here doing this.
We are thankful for you too.
So special. Yeah.
All right, I mean, you said it.
Oh, bring it in! Bring it in! Oh, wait! Get in here! I think I love you guys. Oh.
All right.
I'm stoked, you guys. I mean it. I'm really stoked. Super excited.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's about. Type 2 fun. Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking type 3 fun because I think I would die if I had to ride the whole White Rim, but that's just me.
All right, well, it looks like we got some rafters down there. They're getting evacuated out because the road is impassable.
So what about mountain bikes?
They said if we go down on mountain bike, then we have to hike the bikes over if they haven't been able to clear the road out. So, yeah. I think it makes it worthwhile when we finish and we actually pass all the obstacles that we have to overcome, which we do in our life anyway. So what's new with this? It's the same thing, hey?
Exactly. Like there's a saying that always sticks with me. When we focus on the abilities that we do have, together we can outride anything. We have a whole nother day tomorrow. The sun's already out. The clouds are clearing up. If it can just dry out and we can let Mother Nature just keep doing her thing, maybe we'll get some hero dirt out of this.
Much sorrow comes from women who know not honor and truth.
One day I got an email and it had the name of a trailhead, a time, and it said, hey, we're starting up a mountain biking club. And I had never really considered mountain biking as an activity or an activity for myself. And I thought about it for a second, looked at some things online, and I thought, hey, that looks like a really good activity for me. It was definitely the most challenging thing I had done. I don't think I went more than 200 vertical feet in the ride, but I knew mountain biking was a thing for me as soon as I started. July 17th, 2021, I was involved in a horrible mountain biking accident at my favorite bike park in Angel Fire, New Mexico. It was the first run of the day. I was on my favorite jump line and I just hit a feature a little bit weirdly. Wasn't able to dump enough speed before the next feature. Next thing I knew, I was floating through the air and then being on the ground and unable to move my legs. I knew pretty much instantly that I was paralyzed. I didn't know it was going to be permanent at that point, but here I am today. I currently ride a Bowhead Reach, which is an adaptive mountain bike that's a trike. It has 2 wheels in the front and 1 wheel in the back. It is all electric. It has articulation and lean in the bike, and that allows you to access off-camber situations and technical rock gardens going up and down. I have a seat in my bike that allows me to kind of like strap my torso in and then footrests for my feet to stay in place. It can go a variety of speeds. I'm able to kind of like crank it up or crank it down depending on the situation, and it has an extra large battery. Mountain biking and getting back on the bike has really been what's getting me through this past year. Even now, as I'm further out from my injury, All of my goals are really focused around what can I do with a mountain bike, or where can I go with a mountain bike, or what can I do advocacy-wise with a mountain bike.
Whew. Going up the climb right now. At the top, nicely sun. Hopefully dries things out a little bit. Solid mud. Just super slow going. Hope my friend's doing well. Passed them about when I was 30 minutes in. They started probably an hour before I started. Blew by them too fast for the camera person to follow me. So these are my videos. Well, the past like 7 miles have been solid mud from the rainstorm they had. It's been going slow, but I'm at hour 6 in and 20.6 miles of riding. So yeah, it's been pretty hard so far.
It stormed 2 nights before, and then going into it, I only know what I know. So I knew that on trails in the forest, you get this hero dirt where it's perfectly paved for you in a way that it's forgiving on your butt and your body. But this was hero clay. The conditions were more extreme than I could have ever imagined.
Yeah, I think the more you can sort of stay in motion, it's okay.
This road is way more messed up than the last time I was here.
I'm not joking.
So I've been really fortunate in the last year and a half to have experiences with people with different disabilities. In a lot of ways, it's really important to think about what's accessible to me might not be accessible to somebody else, or what's accessible to someone else might not be accessible for me. We all have different access needs, and that's something that I really was keenly aware of on the White Rim.
Here she goes.
Yeah. You got this.
Okay,
Yeah.
spotting right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just where the exposed part
Yeah.
is. Thank you.
It's really hard accepting help. At the beginning, I wasn't used to asking for help. I'm normally the one giving help or trying to help others, and that was a hard lesson to learn.
Accepting help and asking for help, it's a very, very touchy subject.
It's much easier said than done to help. And there's a lot of people who want to help, but a very few amount of people know how to help. That's why I've been so stubborn about asking for help, because I know that it takes me less time to just do the thing than to explain to them what I need them to do, and then we figure it out together.
It's really important, I think, for people to learn to accept help, because if you help somebody else, it makes you feel good. So if you allow them to help you, you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping them too, because it gives them that power of doing something good.
This is going to be...
And it just opens up this whole new world of people that you would never have met.
I would say the general rule with helping somebody with a disability is just wait until they ask and then help. If you do want to be slightly proactive, you could say, hey, I'm here just in case you need anything.
Well, that's the main part of it, is you have to show up. That's the biggest part of the whole thing, is to actually be there. You see somebody that's out over here doing something like incredible. I just am like cheering. I'm like, yeah! Like, and then that gives me like some energy that I can like, this actually means something. I should keep trying hard.
I would say one of the things that I've really appreciated about joining the disability community is the community itself. I've been able to meet so many wonderful people in a short period of time that are all really willing to kind of help me learn, different aspects of things, or, tell me how they're navigating in the world. It's what's kept me within this space.
We did get separated from the truck quite easily. That was difficult because then when we got to a point where we ran the battery out, we just had to wait then for the vehicle to come.
Yeah, super bummed. I probably won't be riding for a bit today. Even if I did have a bike. So I got to about mile 37 and my battery died. I waited for the support vehicle to come so I could swap out my battery for my secondary battery, and we plugged that one in, and that one didn't work. Since my bike is all electric, there was really no option for me to continue on.
All right, here's what my bike looks like after like 15 miles of mud and crazy dirt. Well, I did it. Back at the car, 100 miles. That was wild. Definitely bonked in the Schaefer climb and took in a little bit too much water. Mile 98 in the road. Just had to pull over and just threw up everywhere. Just threw up all this water. But then after that, started feeling really good. Wish I would have done that earlier. This bike's gonna need some love after this. Yeah, I can't believe I did it. Whew.
What about you? What are your limitations?
I think my biggest limitation is my prosthetic. Just because it's unbreathable. 2 layers of unbreathability. What usually happens is I pull out of my sleeve, this suspension sleeve, and it's because I sweat. And this is also carbon fiber, so there's just no room for breathing and sweating. There's a clear weak point here. Okay, I need shade. I pulled out of my prosthetic sleeve actually, because you can tell by how much dirt is on the inside. Like, how would that get there?
Yo!
Did you hear that? Is that people?
Ow!
Yo! I won't blind you.
You tell me how you're feeling, Josie.
Cold, finally. I think this is the first time of the whole ride I felt cold. And it feels great. I've been super hot all day, overheated, did the thing my prosthetic did the thing I knew it'd do. And super glad I'm not by myself, even though there are definitely times where I thought I wanted to be alone.
I'm really proud of the group effort. It's really amazing to me to think about how many of us came to do this adventure really not having done anything like this before, and came from all parts of the world. I mean, Roger flew in, from halfway across the world to be with us, and that's not lost on me. I think that's a really special bit of this, that we were all able to come together to be here. I've taken a lot away from this experience. Just being out there has given me a lot more confidence in my everyday life. When I arrived for this ride, I was 1 year and 3 months out from my spinal cord injury. I had no idea how my body would respond. I had no idea how my mental state would respond. I just didn't know what was gonna really happen out there. And I'm really proud of myself for showing up and kind of going for the unknown.
Nice, stand straight to the car park. It was a big adventure for sure. Yeah, it was a very epic adventure. Honestly, this whole journey, this whole adventure is just absolutely mind-blowing. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things I've learned is that anybody, whether you have a disability, whether you call yourself able-bodied or whatever, anybody can do this. It's just about coming together, supporting each other, preparing for it. And like I said, we've learnt from this, so now we can adapt and be adaptive and, you know, make the next time round even better.
I did not finish the 100 miles. I got to mile 96 on top of the road, but my body just wouldn't keep going. But I 100% consider this success. It wasn't about being the first nor the fastest. It was about sharing the story and amplifying the message and the awareness that para-athletes are the leaders of an inclusive future.
I'd like to see more people with disabilities in the outdoors and being represented in the outdoors. I'm really fortunate that I have a really nice piece of equipment. I also have experience recreating in the outdoors too. So in a lot of ways, it's easier for me to kind of get to this point. But there's a lot of people that don't have the same access to equipment or the same knowledge around how to be in the outdoors. And so it's really a hope of mine to be able to see more people have the ability to have these experiences. They don't have to be these grand feats. You don't have to summit a mountain or, you know, break a record, but even just to have the opportunity to camp outside with a disability is a huge feat.
I want people to know it is okay to be disabled and not have to deal with the stress and anxiety that I had. With me having a disability and having nobody to look up to, I know everybody else I rode with in this project had very similar experience and they had to be their own role model. And so we want to be that person for you. If you're a person of color, if you're a woman, if you're somebody like me with a disability, like you could be out there doing these things that we're doing. We want cycling to be for everybody. It can be us, it can be you, it can be Annijke, it can be Josie, it can be Roger.
We also get to leave a legacy. We get to leave a path for anybody to explore the outdoors, no matter who they are, what their ability is. We're here to show that none of that matters. If there is a will, and you have the right mindset, and you have the right people, there is a way.
We're all striving for the same thing. We all still want to we all still want to live our lives, and we can all do that. We're just all doing it differently, you know? You just have to modify a little bit. Just get out and live, you know?